Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. Wishing you all a very Merry Christmas from all of us at the FPL Wire. We have hit our 35,000 subscriber target thanks to you guys. So, a big appreciation from all of us. So, I'm recording this video on Christmas morning. I know it's a little bit late. Most of you guys have already done your transfers, but I have not done mine. I think I'm going to leave it very late, wait for the team leaks, and I shall explain why a little bit later. Let's get started. First up, a look back at the previous game week. I got 85 points, which was primarily due to the Salah captaincy with 42 points. The defense contributed with Trent's 4 points, Gabriel's 4, and the new acquisition Robinson chipped in with 6. Isak, of course, chipped in with the 17-pointer. The Jackson to Isak move a couple of weeks ago is not looking too bad. Felt a bit sideways at the time, but Isak is just on another level as an FPL asset. I'm a little bit worried about Flecken now going forward. Brentford have a lot of injuries in defense now. I think Collins and me are potentially their only fit centre backs. I don't know if they can even play the back three that they usually do. Trent, of course, is safe. Gabriel is good as well. With Robinson, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about a potential rotation I have in mind. We'll come back to that. Bumo, I see a lot of people are looking to get him in now potentially with the Saka injury, but I'm just not that enamored. If he's not going to be playing up top in these tougher fixtures, if they don't have centre backs, he really can't do that. I'm not really sure. He might be a make weight for another premium mid, again as something we discuss. Salah, Palmer, not much to be said. Saka, of course, the big topic in the video will be Saka replacements. Strand Larsen has been very disappointing. 0 XG against Leicester means he really needs to get in the bin. From what I could see of the touch map, the new manager is making him drop a lot deeper, which is not ideal. Isak, obviously a hero. João Pedro, very underwhelming. Brighton's stats have dropped a little bit. His stats have been quite poor, but some Brighton fans I've spoken to think Brighton might do actually better in the tougher matches. But again, he is around a 5.5 million striker who is on penalties and who's starting regularly. So I guess he's an easy keep for now. Semenyo, points on my bench again. Always seems to do that when he is on my bench, not when he starts. I probably wouldn't have started him over any of these other guys, so it is what it is. The overall rank is now up to 1.363, which is the highest it's been this season so far. Not saying much, but we can only look to go upwards from here. As usual, look at the fixture difficulty now for the next 6 game weeks. You can see now Palace are on top, and this is for the next 6 game weeks. If you extend this to an even longer period, Palace's fixtures are really nice. Southampton we're obviously not investing in. Liverpool are great. Fulham are great. With Fulham, as we saw, the attack isn't really flourishing, but the defensive fixtures are quite good. Now, Newcastle, obviously, I think we have Isak. May look to add Gordon, but I think that if that happens, it'll probably be around 21. Not right now with Villa, Manchester United, Tottenham. Chelsea, I've got Palmer. I would potentially look to add Jackson, but it can't really be in this period. I think with these 3 games, the rotation is a risk. Maybe around game week 21 is when I would look at Jackson again. City are obviously the most interesting one on here. Everton, Leicester, West Ham, Brentford, Ipswich. You couldn't cherry pick a better set of fixtures, and also Chelsea are not so good defensively. Arsenal, Ipswich is good, but Brentford, Brighton, Tottenham, Villa, they might struggle a little bit without Saka, so I'm a bit wary of getting more investment in there. Now, Bruno Fernandes is quite popular. Wolves and Newcastle could be all right. Wolves with the new manager, bit of an unknown. He says he wants to tighten up a bit more. Newcastle away, they do generally concede a few chances, but with Tonali in midfield, I think they're looking a lot stronger. Liverpool away is obviously a tough fixture. Southampton, Brighton, and then Fulham away. It's not really a great run, but of course, the appeal there is the minutes. Bournemouth's fixtures also take a bit of a turn with this Palace, then Fulham, Everton, then Chelsea, Newcastle, Forest after. So I'm looking to get rid of Semenyo soon. Similarly, you look at Boomer, Brentford have Brighton, Arsenal, Southampton's all right, Man City, Liverpool. You could argue again that Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool are all at the G-Tech where they've been so good, so they might have a go. Now, this is from Certab. First up, I think we should discuss the big topic, Saka replacements. Now, these are the projections combined from all the various websites. Son is out on top by a distance. I don't really agree with that. His minutes, his role in the team just doesn't seem to be on it at the moment. I think they could spend that money elsewhere. 9.8 million is a lot. It's basically the same price as Saka. You're not getting flexibility for any upgrades. Bruno on second with the Wolves and Newcastle fixtures particularly appealing against Southampton, Brighton. Also the projections are good. With Bruno, my main concern is where does he play? If he's in the front three, I think I would be buying him instantly. But again, there is positional uncertainty there. Odegaard doesn't really interest me. I don't know. I've never been a fan of Odegaard as an FPL pick. I think if I was punting on an Arsenal mid, I'd much prefer Martinelli. De Bruyne, no point discussing. Boomer, I already shared my thoughts with you guys. Bowen, again, the fixtures after Southampton, Liverpool, and Man City, not great. But if you have Rodgers, the rotation does work. Foden, the projections are very, very low. Of course, that is given what we have seen from him this season. The shot volume is up, but not many shots in the box. But could be turning a corner with the fixtures. That being said, some rotation risk does exist during this period. I don't think like he's going to play like the fixtures are pretty easy actually. He could play both De Bruyne and Foden in midfield with one of Gundogan and Kovacic, but some uncertainty. Gordon again, like we mentioned, good after 3 weeks. Eze's numbers quite low. I think Sar's numbers, you could just juxtapose that, is quite similar again. And apart from that, none of the picks really interest me in terms of like your Mitomas, Jota, etc. This is again from 18 to 25 top midfielders under 10.5 million on the basis of the various projection sites. The ensemble combines all of them. Son is right on top, Bruno second, Odegaard third, De Bruyne. I don't know how that number is up so high with his minutes, and then it's Bumo. Son is on top for all of them. Fix likes De Bruyne with Saka, Odegaard behind, and Bowen. So Bruno isn't even in the top 5 here, which is interesting. The other sites are more in sync, that is Review and Talkwam. Son on top, Bruno marginally behind on Review. On Talkwam he's 7.5. They both like Bumo as well. Review likes Foden quite a bit, which is nice to see as well. Luis Diaz is up there on Mikel's, but then again, you know the rotation risk with Diaz, right? The upside is definitely there, but again, once the Champions League starts, etc., it feels a bit short term, and he may not even start one of the next two. You just don't know. Looking at the Rob T numbers for this week, you see why Diaz is the most transferred in player this week. Liverpool are projected to score 3.65 goals. That's one of the highest we've had in any game week this season. I'll show you in the next slide again. Arsenal with 3, City 2.4, Chelsea 2.35 against the Fulham side that are very good. I don't know about that. Brighton 2.15, so keep faith in Joao Pedro. Newcastle 1.85, Man United 1.8, so not too bad there. Bournemouth 1.75, but then again you look at Palace 1.23, something I wanted to highlight because I am potentially looking at Sardin this week. It doesn't look like the best entry point, does it? In terms of your clean sheet, Arsenal are way out in front, Liverpool second, Man City third, Chelsea fourth, Bournemouth again 29% clean sheet odds. I'm just trying to find Palace over here. Palace are 17%, so even if I look to upgrade, bring in Munoz this week, 17%, not really a great entry point, right? So if you're buying a defender this week, I think it has to be from either Arsenal or Liverpool. You're not buying anybody from Man City except maybe Guardiola if you want to chase the fixtures over the next few weeks. Now this is what I was talking about in terms of the goal projections. Man City, Southampton at home and Ipswich at home were the only ones that have been close. 3.65 is well clear. But again, you have to keep in mind the turnaround between Leicester and West Ham. The next fixture is only 67 hours, which is really, really short. And West Ham away is a much trickier fixture. Well, maybe not so much now, but it is trickier than Leicester at home, right? So if you're going to rotate, give your likes of Darwin, etc. a game, this is the one. So it could be Darwin, Jota, it could be Gakpo, etc. But it's essentially 4 players for the other 2 spots besides Salah, if you feel like taking a punt over there. What's interesting with Diaz is Gakpo is on 4 yellows, Darwin is on 4 yellows, Diaz is the only one on 1, so he's not at risk of suspension. And in terms of fitness, we have seen in the past, he's a fitness monster. So if you are going to be punting on Liverpool mid, I do like Diaz over there. Arsenal, of course, do appeal with that projection, but with Arsenal, my concern is it's all very performance dependent, right? Essentially, I don't think in the tougher fixtures against your Brentford, Brighton, Tottenham, he's going to be wanting to play Havertz in midfield. He'll likely go with Rice and Partey with Odegaard as a 10. So that effectively means one of Jesus, Martinelli, Trossard or Havertz has to sit out every week, and who knows, they might sign somebody like Rashford on loan in January. So the Arsenal picks are a bit murky at the moment. I think they're a good short term, but I don't really like them for a longer period. Now before we discuss my team, just a short plug for Sleeper. You guys are familiar with the app by now, and I think it is getting towards the end of the month, so you can't really win any prizes for this month, but the next month is just around the corner. Let's just have a look at some of the odds for this week. Man City are one of the most favoured teams along with Liverpool and Arsenal. I don't think Man City will win this one, and Chelsea are pretty high as well. So you'd have to say there are about 4 bankers this week. So it's decent odds in terms of Man United 49%, West Ham 44%. Forest Tottenham is an interesting one. You look at that. Forest are actually projected higher in terms of the win. Wow. You'd not have expected that, but the position in the table doesn't lie. It's not a bad time to get wood. Had to throw that in. But yes, if you're not already on here, you can download the Sleeper app using the QR code on the left and join our Pick'em League with the code on the right. Now, this is how I am set up for this week. I have 2 free transfers, 0.0 in the bank, and obviously Saka is a priority out. Currently, it's Fabianski, Trent, Gabriel. Gabriel doesn't have Manchester United at home. Sorry, it's Ipswich at home. Wait, I think I've loaded the wrong image here, haven't I? It's Robinson's. This is completely all over the place, guys. I'm so sorry about that. It's Christmas and things have been a bit hectic. So Gabriel has Ipswich. It's not Lewis in there. I have Robinson in there playing Chelsea away. Salah, Bumo, Semenyo, Palmer. Again, the captaincy is also wrong on this graphic. It should be Salah captain with Palmer vice captain. Saka, Jackson, and Joao Pedro. Flecken, Strand Larsen, Mikalenko, and Greaves. Again, apologies for the image. Now, the obvious move I'm looking at this week, I think, is Saka to Bruno. This leaves me with 1.9 in the bank, but I want to discuss some other permutations with you guys. Now, let's say I make the move this week. This is how the team looks. Pretty much same to what you guys saw earlier. Saka goes out. It leaves me with 1.9 in the bank for the week after. Now, in game week 19, I have a lot of options with that money. I can get Mateta for Strand Larsen. I do want to invest in Palace for the Southampton fixture. I can potentially do Foden to Mbumo in that way also, because I'll have that. How much in the bank again? Let me go back. So 1.9 in the bank. So I can potentially do get to Bumo to Foden, but then I can't really get any Palace players in. I can get Sarin for Semenyo as well, I guess, and ignore Mateta completely. That way I have even more money left over. Then I could potentially do the Munoz move as well. But then leaving just GSL there, GSL feels like a liability I don't really want to carry. The thing with Palace though, I don't really know who's the best pick now. I think it's Sar because of the price savings, but might turn out next week I realize that, oh shucks, I want Mateta. Mateta is the better pick. But should I buy myself that one more week of data on Palace, especially because the entry point against Bournemouth isn't that great, right? I'll show you guys a rotation now. I know I wasn't too big on it on the pod, but it's actually pretty decent. Now, let's say you set up with Mikalenko, Robinson, and Munoz. You play Munoz for Bournemouth away, Southampton at home. You play Robinson for Ipswich at home. Then again, Munoz for Leicester away. Robinson for Leicester away again. In game week 23, you could play Fulham. I guess you could play Robinson, or you could play Brentford at home for Munoz. In game week 24, you play Mikalenko. And game week 25, you play Everton at home. So effectively, you're getting a lot of action against the promoted teams here. You're getting Southampton, Ipswich, Leicester. So that's 5 games against the promoted sides in a place of 7 weeks. You could argue that you could effectively play Robinson in most of these fixtures, but Leicester away is potentially better than West Ham away, right? There is some discernible upgrade over there. For example, Everton at home is better than Forest at home. Southampton at home in game week 19 is better than Bournemouth at home. Now, let's say if I do this week something like Sar and Munoz in, because Munoz I think is a little bit better away to Bournemouth than Robinson is away to Chelsea. This is how the team would look with Sar in place of Saka and Munoz over there in place of Greaves. This would leave me now 3.7 in the bank, which is a decent amount of change and gives me a lot of flexibility next week, but I'll only have one transfer available then. With that 3.7, I could get even somebody like a Bruno in for Semenyo. I can get a Foden in for Semenyo. I can potentially look to even save a transfer, play Semenyo, and downgrade. I think with Jackson, I would need another 1.1 more or 0.2 more. Then I can downgrade Boomo to, let's say, a Gordon the week after. So the flexibility is there, and it gives me another week to judge whether I want Bruno, whether I want Foden. So I'm not really sure on which 2 paths I'm going to take now. I want your feedback in the comments. Currently, I'm leaning towards getting Bruno in this week and waiting 1 more week to assess my options. But I think Sar could do well against Bournemouth. I'm quite impressed by him. And again, I'm very tempted by Foden. Now, if I get a team league that Foden is starting against Everton, I might just skip Bruno altogether and go Foden in that case. That means I wouldn't be able to get Mateta next week, but I could still get Chris Wood in that GSL position, which is not too bad. And or I could just get Sar in for Semenyo or bench GSL. The option's still there. So what I'm looking for is essentially with Foden, even if he starts this week, if he has a poor game, will he start the next one against Leicester? I'm not so sure. So again, I might want one more week of thinking time on Foden. So that's where I am with my transfers this week. I'm not really sure which way I want to go. I want you guys' feedback in the comments. I think whatever it is, I will be doing my transfers very late. So I haven't mentioned the like and subscribe. Do hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. And thank you for all your subscriptions this week so far to help us reach our target. Once again, a Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you find the video useful. Thank you.